Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Well, hopes are high among the Friar faithful on this opening day. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. The San Diego Padres started a new season at home this afternoon in the best way possible with a win. And KPBS reporter Melissa May is live at Petco Park, where she's been talking to players, fans, and just exploring the ballpark. Melissa.
Thanks, Maya. Happy opening day. There's just something so special about the first game of the season. Whether it's the sounds, the smells, or the energy, you can just feel it in the air. Padres third baseman Manny Machado said it's like the first day of school, but better. San Diego opens their season with a win against the Atlanta Braves, beating them 7-4. Now, one of the most iconic parts of Petco Park is the Western Meadow building. Well, it got some upgrades during the off season, and I checked in with some Friars faithful to see what they thought of the changes. Fans of all ages are feeling good about the Padres this season.
I'm very pumped. I'm ready for this new season. See what happens. Hope we bring that trophy here. I'm ready.
Winning.
Why?
Because we need to.
What's your favorite part about being a Padres fan?
Seeing them win.
I have high hopes. There's a lot of other teams that have made some significant moves, so hopefully we'll do well against them.
The Padres made some moves too, but those aren't the only changes at Petco Park this year. The Western Meadow building may look the same on the outside, but the inside underwent a major renovation. On the first floor, the Padres' new Team Era store has expanded by 1,000 square feet. Jamie Castro says she's been a Padres fan her whole life and enjoys the store's atmosphere.
I love it.
Why?
Super spacious. I like the layout, easy to see everything. Everything's divided up perfectly. I really like it.
On the fifth floor, the Budweiser loft looks a lot different too. Santee resident and long-term Padres fan Steve Falwell says the vibe feels familiar, but he is impressed with the changes.
It's beautiful. I mean, it looks, I'm not sure how the lines are going to work out, but it's really an improvement from what it was.
The rooftop has been completely remodeled with all new sight lines into Petco too. Padres players enjoy opening day as much as the fans.
You know, we're excited to get it going and, you know, start off the year, in front of the best fan base in baseball. So, you know, I think opening day in San Diego is one of the best ones. So looking forward to today.
Padres fans showed up in full force today. Attendance was 45,568, making it the largest opening day crowd in Petco Park history. Another memorable part of today's game was during the pregame ceremony. AC/DC's Hell's Bells rang out once again as Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman threw out the first ceremonial pitch. Live at Petco Park, Melissa May, KPBS News.
We are looking at mostly cloudy skies coming through tonight and the potential for some areas of drizzle as we move through some of the coastal communities tonight. So we'll be on the watch for that. 58 for the low in the city. We'll talk about a pretty quiet pattern in the days to come.
During his first term, President Donald Trump set a goal to end the U.S. HIV epidemic by 2030. Now his administration is reportedly considering cuts to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's domestic HIV programs. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says advocates fear this could undermine years of progress.
I've been waiting. Local performer Justin Renaissance knows the impact of HIV firsthand. I've been searching for the answer. What went wrong?
I still actively have friends who pass away from this. And that is the reality. It doesn't just affect people in the LGBT community, it affects everybody.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention currently provides about 91% of federal funding for HIV prevention in the U.S. State and local health departments, along with community-based organizations, depend on this funding for HIV testing, education, and access to pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, a medication that helps prevent HIV. Now, the Trump administration is considering cutting these funds or moving the programs to another federal agency.
And if the Trump administration's goal is government efficiency, prevention services are so much less expensive throughout the healthcare context.
Kara Desert runs the San Diego LGBT Community Center. She says the center could lose about $100,000 in funding. The potential CDC cuts aren't the only concern. More than $3.6 billion in federal housing grants are also on hold.
Because of this concern about DEI, supposed concern about DEI, they may cut funding for any of those programs just because this program is administered by an LGBTQ organization like the Center.
Congressman Scott Peters visited the center last week, pushing back against the proposed cuts. Health experts warn that shutting down the CDC's Division of HIV Prevention could trigger a public health crisis reminiscent of the HIV pandemic in the 1980s. Adolescents and young adults make up about 19% of new infections annually in the U.S. Justin Renaissance says prevention is key.
The younger generation definitely needs proper education on this, and preventative care is 100% the way to go. We can't get rid of that.
The administration hasn't announced a final decision, but advocates say losing this funding would set HIV prevention efforts back decades. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
A political fight is brewing in the quiet city in the country. For the first time in Poway's history, a city council member has been censured, and now he faces a recall effort. KPBS North County reporter Alexander Nguyen tells us what led up to this.
But sadly, this is typical Blaine behavior.
Tony Blaine's been on the Poway City Council for 3 months. In that time, he's been accused of vote trading and threatening and harassing city staffers and other officials, including City Attorney Alan Fenstermacher, who lashed out during a council meeting in January.
I am no longer going to be intimidated by you, Councilmember Blaine. I don't give a flying if you fire me, because I will not take this lying down anymore. You are a bully. You've been harassing me for months, and I've tried to be professional, and this is enough.
It's making a mockery of our local government.
Former Poway council member Anita Edmondson says Blaine's actions and behaviors since taking office are disturbing and jarring.
People thought they were voting for a certain person, and what they were seeing was alarming.
Blaine was censured or publicly reprimanded last month.
You have brought it upon yourself.
And now Edmondson and others, including former councilmember John Mullen, have launched a recall effort.
The district attorney is investigating potential felony allegations, criminal, that he has wanted to trade votes and then extorted council members who wouldn't vote the way he wanted.
The DA's office says it cannot confirm any investigations. Blaine declined an interview but says this via text and email. Write anything you want. Political lies and attacks are irrelevant and don't work. That's my quote. Blaine was served the NOI, or Notice of Intent for a Recall, at the March 18th meeting. The Registrar of Voters accepted the petition on Tuesday, triggering a 7-day period for Blaine to respond.
There was people signed the NOI that voted for him. It didn't take long for them to realize that we have a problem and we need to fix it.
The group hopes to be able to start collecting signatures for a recall campaign by the end of April. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
An investigation has revealed stark differences in how white and black people were sentenced in robbery murders under a former San Diego district attorney. KPBS reporter Katie Hyson says nearly all the black defendants are serving life without parole.
Yes, probably. When Layla Aziz moved back to San Diego, she wondered where the people she grew up with went. She discovered a few were convicted of murder during a robbery, something called felony murder special circumstances. even if they didn't commit the murder, if they were part of the robbery, it was life without parole, a sentence to die in prison.
How do you get a death sentence if you didn't kill anyone?
California laws recently changed. People can now appeal for resentencing if they weren't the actual killer, or if they can prove racial bias in their case. So Aziz filed a public records request for all robbery murder cases with defendants between 18 and 25 years old at the time of the crime. She chose that because before 25, the decision-making part of the brain hasn't fully developed. All under Paul Pfingst, San Diego's district attorney from 1995 to 2003. Similar cases, apples to apples. She found many white defendants who could have been charged with special circumstances never were, or were given plea deals for lesser charges. Some cases were missing.
And that's when we realized we're not going to get the data just from the DA. We're going to have to dig.
By we, she means the nonprofit she runs, Pillars of the Community. They analyzed mass amounts of data, filed more records requests, visited courts, combed through archives. KPBS did the same. A clear pattern emerged. 13 out of 15 white defendants in robbery murder cases, killers and non-killers, were given the chance at parole, including one convicted of brutally murdering a Latino man. A witness said he bragged about earning his bolts, a common white supremacist tattoo. 11 out of 12 Black defendants, killers and non-killers, were given life without parole.
When you're looking at people, not even numbers anymore, I know all of their names by heart. When you're looking at people and you see them treated differently by the same exact system, you're like, separate but equal? Plessy versus Ferguson, Jim Crow, it all feels the same.
The data show it wasn't one problem judge, one overeager attorney, or even prior convictions. It was a racial pattern. Aziz traces a line from life without parole sentences to lynching trees.
We called it strange fruit because it reminded us of where we were 50, 60 years ago and where we said as a country we were not going to go back to.
This is brought to you by Pillars of the Community.
Pillars decided to hold what they call a people's tribunal.
To charge the district attorney the way they charge us, to subpoena the district attorney the way they subpoena us.
On a late January night, they put the current district attorney on mock trial. It was standing room only. Enlarged mugshots bordered the room.
Every single person has the same exact crime. Every single one of them. Look around the room.
Aziz pointed to a Black man's mugshot.
That's a non-killer. Death or parole? Death.
Then to a white man's mugshot.
That man went to a jury and never had the fear of getting a death sentence because the DA doesn't even charge white folks like they charge us all the time. Why is that?
A lone representative from the DA addressed the room, Frank Jackson.
How did this happen? The answer to your question is, I don't know that answer, so I'm not going to make it up. That happened in, I think most of these will look like the 1998s and 2000s.
A district attorney spokesperson told KPBS the current office takes equal justice seriously. Quote, to suggest otherwise is reckless. They would not respond to any of KPBS's questions. Aziz won't let them off the hook because the district attorney has the power now to re-sentence these cases from life without parole to life with parole.
But she has chosen not to do it. So you can't fight to uphold Paul Pfingst's legacy of foundational racism and then say it was before your time.
Pfingst didn't respond to KPBS.
No one else should get a life without parole sentence between the ages of 18 through 25 until they figure out what's going on here.
At the People's Tribunal, they called witnesses, including Linda Whitley. Her son's mugshot was in the room. She asked Aziz to hold up what she sees as proof he's changed, college degrees he earned in prison.
Here's his bachelor's of art and communication. But Marquel is deemed to die in prison. He could never be rehabilitated. He could never be redeemed.
His court process was hard for her.
It was terrible because I didn't understand a lot of stuff they were saying.
Whitley was never taught to read. She doesn't fully understand the word parole. She just knows some people get to come home, and her son can't.
I know he can show the world now. He can be a better person now.
You have a prepaid call from
Quail Smith. When I first came to prison,
Tomorrow, we'll hear his story, how it represents thousands of others, and what could be done to bring him home. Katie Hyson, KPBS News.
Excellent reporting there by Katie. And San Diegans' take on President Trump's first 2 months in office mirrors their party's views. Here is the second part of KPBS's Public Matters reporter Amita Sharma's conversation with 2 local voters.
Mary Jo, these cuts were targeted with the help of Elon Musk, who heads the Department of Government Efficiency. Musk has access to our financial data. How does this make you feel?
It gives me great consternation. I have a knot in my stomach over the idea of him and whoever is working with him having access to so much private information. He is a business person. He comes in and buys businesses and then does whatever he does with them. The government is not a business, and it should not be run like a business. The point of government is not to make money. The point of business is to make money for its owners, its stock, its investors, all of that. Government is not that. Government is supposed to do other things.
Liliana, how do you feel about Elon Musk having access to our private data?
I don't mind, because every time we sign up for a service and every time we do anything pretty much, our information is out there, whether it be with the financial institution, medical, any applications we have on our phones, our information is out there. Information gets hacked a lot, so him doing, him having our information isn't gonna, I don't see it any different than anybody else having it. And just, I just wanted to respond again. I understand everything you're saying, but I think you are correct. Everything is being done so fast, and it's so fluid, and it seems like there is no a solid agenda. I don't know, but I am very happy that something is being done in the past 2 months that has not been done in many years.
Mary Jo, are the Democrats doing a good job of countering President Trump?
Well, that's a tough one, because I am not a registered Democrat, so none of them are going to come after me to support them. But I think that there could be a better way that to respond. I think the House has a better voice. They seem to be better unified. There are certain people who are speaking out and trying to bring awareness to the ways that things are being done and the way that they affect people. There's a lot of shenanigans in both parties. I don't. One of the reasons I am no longer a Democrat is because their methods serve themselves in a lot of ways and not the people that supposedly they represent.
Liliana, the Trump administration has defied a court order on the deportations of alleged Venezuelan gang members. As a Republican, is there a line that you do not want to see this administration cross?
I don't even believe he defied. He said that the plane was already over the airspace, so he is looking out for our safety. I would rather have them return to their country and feel a little safer walking in our streets.
Mary Jo, is there anything President Trump has done so far that you're happy with?
I don't know what to even say about that. I'm trying to think if there's anything domestically that he has done that I can say, yeah, good job. And truthfully, nothing is coming to mind, and I'm sorry for that. I wish I could say, oh yeah, he's doing this right. He's doing this well. I support this. I haven't gotten there yet.
Liliana, where do you think the country is headed right now?
I'm very pleased with the way President Trump has been handling things. I feel that sometimes the media and maybe the Democrats don't focus on or don't mention on why President Trump does things. And I really believe that he keeps to America first.
Amitha Sharma with that report. And you can find both interviews at kpbs.org/Public Matters. Just in time for opening day, an artist is putting the finishing touches on a new mural in North Park. A group of dedicated Padres fans began raising money for it after another mural down the road was ruined.
The first mural that we did was defaced. It was just on the corner of 30th and University, so a couple blocks from here. So this is our second iteration. We've got a lot larger spot, I think a more prominent spot. We're gonna go bigger and bolder and better. I mean, I think San Diegans, we kind of took it personally. It wasn't great to see that, obviously, but you don't want to, take it on the chin and just go lie down. You want to get back out there and produce something even better. So we're using that negative energy. A bunch of fans got together and said, this is San Diego, this is what we're about, what we want to see.
You can spot the new mural featuring Fernando Tatis Jr. on University Avenue, just east of Park Boulevard.
We are looking at a pretty quiet stretch of weather here, but we do have some action as we head through tonight into tomorrow morning. Could be some areas of drizzle likely for us, but also staying very breezy with those onshore winds, and that's going to keep pumping the moisture in from the Pacific. Also keeping things on a seasonably cool note as we go into the weekend. San Diego tonight, we hit 58 here as you look towards Escondido, 53. Mount Laguna coming down to 45. Again, could we see a shower or two heading into tomorrow morning? It's a possibility, but for the most part, our pattern is pretty quiet. It's just that onshore flow that keeps things a little bit active for us for mostly the coastal communities. As we transition then into tomorrow, it's back into the 60s for us, 65 for the high. As you can see, Oceanside indicating some of those showers there at 66 degrees. Borrego Springs, though, you're going to keep things dry. Temperatures there in the mid-70s. Future radar satellite shows us some of that moisture really building here as we head through tonight into tomorrow morning and early tomorrow morning. Again, could there be a stray shower somewhere? It's a possibility. It's very fleeting, though, even as we head into the later morning hours. Your Friday morning, just a few passing showers there for the coast possible, mostly just some drizzle. Then beyond that, fairly quiet. Temperatures staying in the 60s right into the weekend here. As we work our way through our inland communities, we're likely to stay dry. Temperatures stay in the mid 60s, pushing towards 70 degrees on Monday. That's going to be kind of a warm trend before we see some more clouds come in, potentially some more rainfall into the middle of the upcoming week. Mountain communities, watch out. Those winds still persistent into tomorrow, and we will keep some more winds heading into Sunday too. So it's a back and forth battle with them as that onshore flow comes in, but staying largely dry. Desert communities also looking fairly quiet here as we head through the weekend with temperatures in the 70s and climbing close to 80 degrees for the early week. But note, there are some more clouds coming in on Tuesday, and we'll be talking more rain chances heading into Wednesday. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Melissa Constanzer.
There's a place in San Diego that used to be top secret. It held cutting-edge technology that helped ensure the security of the United States. So see if you can guess where it is, as Ken Kramer gives us some clues in this story about San Diego.
In here, it's like something from a science fiction story. What is this? An outer limits place that for almost 50 years was top security. You couldn't just walk in here and take pictures. Up until the early 1990s, it was all part of the most sophisticated communications center you could imagine. If something was going on nearby or anywhere in the world, really, all these data burps and bleeps and Morse code beeps had a purpose. They helped keep everyone here and around the world safe. Starting in 1945 and through the decades thereafter, the communication that came in and out of here was not just security and life critical, it was crucial to the war effort in the days after World War II and then Vietnam and Desert Storm. This was high-intensity, real-time drama, and every one of the thousands upon crazy thousands of switches, push buttons, and meters here had to be maintained and understood. They had to work. Time and technology has changed. This place isn't state-of-the-art or top secret anymore. In fact, it's just for display today. Anybody can come in and see and wonder at it. No communication actually comes through here anymore, except every now and then.
CQ. This is NI6IW, November India 680 Whiskey.
These are ham radio operators who gather here on Saturdays once a month or so to bring this place back to life, sending and receiving voice, data, and Morse code messages. For a few hours, it's once again tuned into the world. And for me, the chance to click and beep out some Morse code from a very historic radio room. That's something that doesn't happen every day.
That's it. His name was Fred, and he was near Seattle.
There's a preservation of history here, of equipment, dials, switches, teletypes, of the way things used to be. But it's more than that, because this whole communications area is part, and I would argue a big part, of the Midway. Honored and lovingly maintained as an aircraft carrier museum on our waterfront by volunteers and docents, some of whom served aboard her, and who I imagine remember well these sights and sounds. In a place now cherished and preserved, about San Diego.
Oh, Ken and his puzzles. Ken Kramer's About San Diego airs tonight at 8 o'clock right here on KPBS. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.